I get asked this question all the time by students and members, badass brothers. Michael, when you're putting your daughter to bed every night, when you're doing your reading each and every night, what do you talk to your daughter about? She's 11 years old now, and my wife Krista and I, we do bedtimes every second night, and we've read to her since she was born. And when I'm driving my daughter to school, when I'm driving her back from school, when I'm driving her to the rink or the stadium or the horse barn, but especially when we're saying our prayer at night, and especially when we're done our reading before bedtime, there's a handful of things that I always say to my daughter, and I've said them over the last 11 years. And as difficult as it is, I'm going to share these with you, and hopefully you'll find value in them in your relationship with your queen, with your children, with your grandchildren. And remember, no matter what age your kids are, whether they're children, whether they're teenagers, whether they're in their 20s, even if they're in their 30s and 40s. Take it from me as a former professional hockey coach. I coach guys that were 20, 30, even 40 years old in minor pro. We need to hear these things our entire life. Your children and your queen and your secret weapon wife, they need to hear these things consistently from you. When the king does not rise, the kingdom dies. This is a big part of me kinging up in my world. Not yelling, not screaming, not preaching, not ranting, not raving, but telling my queen and my daughter, for as long as I'm blessed to be on this earth, these things. And they have to be authentic. They have to be genuine. And admittedly, there's going to be lots of times, especially when they're teenagers and young adults, where you'll think they're not listening. And you're wrong. When you think they don't need to hear from you, when they need to be left alone, or the bedroom door shut, or they've shut you out, or you feel disconnected, or they feel disconnected, that's exactly when they need to hear this. They don't need to hear these things once in their lifetime at a wedding, or once in their lifetime at a graduation. Our queens and our children and our grandchildren need to hear these things, whatever they are for you, whatever they are for me, consistently. It's what's consistently comes out of your mouth matters. And language, my friend, is powerful. Words matter. Words heal. Words hurt. Words heal. Words hurt. And the way you speak to your queen, the way you speak to your children, the way you speak to your employees, the way you speak to your grandchildren matters. Especially as a king, as a champion, as the leader of your family. Your words can be stones, or your words can be that gasoline and fuel that lights a fire in the people around you. Words and language matter. Never forget that. So you can download a free copy of my book below. 5 Ways to Unfuck Your Life in the Next 30 Days. It's free. It's below. It's only 22 pages. You can print it off and study it. As soon as you put in your email, I'll email you a digital copy within 5 minutes. You send me your email, I'll send you the book for free. My gift to you. If you need to get your shit together like I do from time to time, this book, 5 Ways to Unfuck Your Life, is a great way to start. It'll get the job done for you in the next 30 days. So I made a list. I wrote a list out this morning during my reading time. I didn't want to miss any of these. And it was a good exercise in writing it out too, because I just visualized, okay, what have I done over the last 11 years with my own daughter? What's worked, what hasn't worked? So words matter and language matters. And again, this is really important to all ages. Your job as a father is never done. Get that in your head. I coach 25-year-old kids, 30-year-old kids, and they're still mentally immature, emotionally immature, even spiritually immature, and they need your help. They don't need to be babied. They don't need to be felt sorry for. They don't need to be spoiled or entitled. They're not cupcakes. They're not poodles, but they need you to be there. And you need to be there until the day you can't be there. But your job is never done as king. When the king does not rise, the kingdom dies. So you are a king of your family till the day you die. Words that matter. Before I turn off the light at night, I always say to my daughter, I'm proud of you. Every day of her life, whether it was on the way to school, whether it was at practice or picking her up or bedtime, whatever it is, when she's in the process of accomplishing or doing something hard or difficult, especially if she's losing at something, it's not working, the adversity's there, she's grinding, she's struggling, it's hard, I'm always there to look her in the eye and say, I'm proud of you. Anytime my daughter struggles and fights through something difficult, I have always tried to be there and say, I'm proud of you. I don't give her the atta girls or any of that stuff when everybody else is cheering her name or she's won a contest or anything like that. Your job as king is to be there when she's down. When she's down and still fighting, that's when she needs you to be there. She needs you to be there when nobody else is there. That's when she needs to hear that her father is proud of her. My favorite thing to do is spend time with you. Every week, a couple of times, I do stuff, daddy, daughter, lunch, daddy, daughter, movie, whatever it is. Just our time. No Krista, no friends, just Emery and myself. And I always make a note of saying to her that this is my favorite thing I do all week. Being with you is my favorite thing to do, and my favorite thing to do is spend time with you. When you say something like this to your children or even your queen, remember that you're emphasizing the process that you've got to follow up with action. So I don't carry a cell phone, so when I'm doing something with my daughter, I'm 100% there. Both feet in today. See, if you're a fake son of a bitch and you say to your child, oh, I love spending time with you, and then you sit on your goddamn cell phone like some fucking zombie, that's shameful. You shouldn't even have a cell phone on you when you're out with your daughter or your son at a ball game or a movie or going for a walk or taking them to dinner. What are you? What are you? You're sending a message that whatever's in that phone is more important than them. You should be ashamed of yourself. That's how a poodle acts. That's how a house cat. That's not how a king rules his kingdom. You say it, you mean it, and you live it. Third thing, this is a big one I learned and I've used for 5 years. When my daughter comes to me and tells me something from school or tells me something that she's confiding in me, she wants to tell me something, I always say, thank you for telling me that. I'm thanking her for being open and honest. Children are born open and honest. We make them dishonest, and closed. So anytime my daughter comes and tells me something, whether it's about what somebody else was doing or something she didn't agree with or something that happened at school or the horse barn, I always make a point of saying, thank you for telling me that. I want to praise and encourage honesty and openness for her entire life. She can always come to me. And then when we talk about it, I always say to her, please tell me more, sweetheart. Please tell me more. I want her to be as open and honest as she possibly can be. I want her to feel safe with me. It's between me and her. Please tell me more about that if you'd like. A fourth thing. I love your passion and enthusiasm for this. Whatever our children or our teenagers or our adult children show passion and enthusiasm for, you need to show passion and enthusiasm. Your job as the king of your family is to light the fire in your wife and your children. Most fathers and husbands are extinguishers. You crabs in the bucket, you pull people down, you make them feel less, you pour water on their dreams, you tell them things can't be done. No, no, no. Be realistic. I don't think so. That seems hard. Instead of yes, yes, yes. I believe. Let's do it. It's going to be hard. We can do it. You're supposed to be gasoline on their fire. They're supposed to be on fire because of the way you talk to them. Your words matter. Your language matters. Stop extinguishing their dreams and their enthusiasm. I love your passion and enthusiasm for math. I love your passion and enthusiasm for chess. I love your passion and enthusiasm for the game of golf. I love your passion and enthusiasm for acting, horseback riding, football, weight training, light a fire, stroke the fire. You are the greatest gift in my life. And I always tell my daughter once a week at bedtime, I always say to her, you are the greatest gift in our life. It's the truth. And she puts a big smile on her face before she goes to sleep. Think about that, your subconscious. Somebody tells you you're the greatest blessing in their life, and then their mind works on that for 8 hours. And then I always finish with this truth. You brought our family together. And I always say to Emery, I'll say, who brought this family together? And she'll say, I did. I want her to know that Krista and I had a wonderful marriage, but there was something missing in our life after all the trips and all the adventures and all the freedom. Krista and I both agreed there was something missing in our world. And of course, that's children. And when we were blessed with Emery, finally, every day we don't take any of this for granted. But it's important that I tell her that I remind her of that she completed this family. And that I feel and Krista feels every day that she is the greatest gift the good Lord has ever blessed us with. And I tell her that at least one time a week. 6, you look beautiful. If I had a son, you look handsome. You look like a champion. It's amazing how compliments are free, and we're so damn stingy with them. They are free. You can compliment your queen authentically. You can compliment your daughter, your son, your grandkids, and they're free. And they always make somebody feel just a little bit better. Man, you're looking fit, son. You look great. You're going to knock them dead. Man, I can pick a winner and you're a winner. You are beautiful. You look amazing. Self-image, self-esteem, but most importantly, self-respect. Dole them out. They're free. Compliments are free. Start doling them out. Dad, start doling them out. Number 7, thank you for being you. Keep being you. In 2024, your children and your wife need to hear this all the time. Where everybody is running everybody else's race, everybody's unhappy, everybody's lonely, and everybody's depressed. 90%, 9 out of 10 people. Why do you think people are unhappy, depressed, and lonely? Because they live on social media and they live in a world where everybody is comparing themselves to everybody else's pro wrestling world. None of it's true. All of it's fake. None of it's reality. But we all think that somebody else's vacation's better, their car's better, their clothes are better, their relationship's better, their life is better. And it's leading to loneliness, depression, and unhappiness. Run your own race. Run your own race. And I emphasize this to my daughter all the time. Thank you for being you. And I remind her, I always say to my daughter, I said, always stand out, never fit in. Always stand out. I love how you're different. I love how you're unique. Keep being you. Keep being you. When she does funny things and humorous things and quirky things and things that make her Emery Eva McLean, I'm always there to say, keep being you. Keep being you. There's only one you. Keep being you. Run your own race. The world needs you to be you. Keep doing you. Number 8. This is a big one, especially with young children. We pound the curiosity out of our children. We literally, our teachers, our counselors, our coaches, mums and dads, we pound the curiosity out of learning machine children. We pound it out of them. Another question. Instead, I'm so glad you asked. I have disciplined myself to say that now for 10, 11 years. I'm so glad you asked. My daughter is a question asking machine. And if I didn't have this king mindset and Krista has this mindset, she would have drove us bananas years ago. But we want to throw gasoline on her curiosity, on her interest in things. I'm so glad you asked that question. I'm so glad you asked about this. I'm so glad you asked about this. I want to keep her curious. I want her to be a learning machine her entire life. I never want her mind to be ever closed. I never want her to be uncurious. I'm so glad you asked. And I always tell her, keep asking questions. Keep asking me. Keep asking me. I love your questions. Stoking the fire of curiosity. I will always love you no matter what. You know how many times your adult children need to hear that? When they're 20 and 30 and 40, and they're having trouble in their marriage, or they're having trouble as a new mom, or they're having trouble, or you're teenagers, they've locked you out of your life. I will love you no matter what. I write love notes to my wife. I write love notes every week to my daughter. And this is one that I write a lot because I just don't want to say these things. I also want to write them on Post-it notes and leave them under her pillow or put them in her lunch kit or stick them in her book. And that's one of the ones I like to write to her. I will always love you no matter what. That's a biggie, brother. That's a biggie. Write that one. Say that one. It's a biggie. No matter what, good times and bad, we will always, always, always love you. Number 10. I count my blessings every day for you. And the reason I say that is I want to show Emery that Krista and I are always living an attitude of gratitude. So I want to say, not just do we feel blessed to have her in our life, but that we count our blessings. I tell Emery, I say, you know, last night when Mummy and I were doing our gratitude list before bed, I said, you know what I told Mummy? And she'll say, what? And I'll say, I'm grateful for that kid. And the biggest smile you ever saw will come on her face. I'm grateful for that kid. Reminding her that we also have an attitude of gratitude and that Krista and I are always counting our blessings. Number 11, you can do this. Can I do this? You think I'm able? You can do this? Absolutely, period. You can do this. At the horse barn, at a chess match, learning to write, copy, coding, running, whatever it is, school, you can absolutely do this. Won't be easy. Won't be easy. But you can absolutely do this. Do you know in your life, if you think back to a coach or a teacher or a parent, who one of them, you just need one person to believe in you. Do you know we just need one person to believe in us to change the entire trajectory of our life? One coach, one teacher, one minister, one something. Be that person for your daughter, your son, or your wife. I believe you can absolutely do this. When they're doubting themselves, you can absolutely do this. When I'm frustrated and, in business and I'm working and I'm not seeing any results or I'm having a tough day, my wife is always there on the tough days to say, we believe in you and you can absolutely do this. A couple more here on the back. Barely read my own printing. Something I say to Emery every night before I turn out the light. I always say to her, I ask her this question. This is big for kids. Who do you have to love? Myself, she answers. Who do you have to respect? Myself. Why do you have to do those two things, sweetheart? So I can love and respect others. Who do you have to love? Myself. Who do you have to respect? Myself. Why? So I can love and respect others. You can't love and respect other people unless you first love yourself and respect yourself. Your king or your queen and your children need to hear that. And my very last one, and this is kind of an MJM one, where just before I turn out the lights, I always say, good night, God bless. And then I always say to Emery, it's dark in the room, I'm about to shut the door, and I say, who's going to change this world for the better? And she goes, me. And I go, how are you going to do it? And she goes, by helping lots of people. By helping lots of people. That is a list that I use. You can make your own list. I hope that that's a little bit of a helpful list for you. Your children are never not children. And you better heed that warning. Because I have brought 20-year-olds, 30-year-olds, and 40-year-olds back from the brink. Back from the brink. Because they had lost connection with their father. And it's never too late to king up and to man up and get back in their life. Never too late. It won't be easy. It'll take years, and it'll be worth it. Expect nothing in return. You deserve nothing in return. If you weren't there for them, they do not need to be there for you. But they'll love you again if you are selfless and you serve them and you expect nothing in return. For 10 years, for 20 years, you just give, you just give, you just show up, you just give, you just show up, you just give up with no expectation. You didn't have any time for them. So they don't owe you fuck all. Give, you give, you give, you serve, you serve, you serve. 10 years, 15 years, 20 years. Hey, Dad, you want to go to lunch? Hey, Dad, you want to maybe come over for dinner? They owe you nothing. You've got to overcome your failures. You've got to get back in, and if it takes a decade, it takes a decade. If it takes 2 decades, they owe you jack shit. You weren't there for them. They don't have to. You were the adult. You were the adult. You were this guy who was supposed to be the king. If you weren't the king, they don't owe you anything. But it's never too late. It's never too late to be a father. It's never too late to be a husband. Never too late to be a grandfather. The king does not rise, the kingdom dies. It's never too late. So, words matter. They're sledgehammers and they're gasoline to light fires. Your job is to light fires of inspiration and motivation in your wife's life, in your children's life, in your grandchildren's life. It is your job to say yes more than no. Yes, you can do that. Yes, I believe in you. Yes, I'm proud of you. Yes, you can do that. Yes, I'll play with you. Yes, I'll go to that. And then actually be mentally there. Nothing's more contagious than your actual example. It has to be authentic, and you have to be there mentally. Checking out doesn't pay. That's not showing up. That's mailing it in. Say yes more than no. And be the gasoline and the fire and the fuel in your life, in your wife's life, in your kids' lives. The king does not rise, the kingdom dies. We need more kings like you. More kings, less cowards. More champions, less chumps. More winners, less whiners. And more victors and less victims. You can download a copy of my free book, 5 Ways to Unfuck Your Life in the Next Month. The link is below, brassballsvideos.com. Feel free to share the book, share these videos, comment below. I love to hear from you. If any of this was helpful, I'd love to hear what you do and say to your own children, your own queen, your own grandchildren. Anything you say helps me be better. Like my dad said, my 90-year young dad, we're living in the greatest time in history, 2024. We're awash in wealth, abundance, and opportunity like never before in life. There's no excuse for not doing well. There's no excuse for not manning up, wising up, and kinging up. And it's never, ever too late for you. It's never, ever, ever too late to be an incredible husband, an incredible father. It's never too late for you to become the leader of your family. Download the book for free below. 2 words that changed my life. 2 words that'll change yours. Words matter. Be relentless.